Hi, this is Robin with Little Cakes with Big Attitude, and I have some exciting news. Fall is finally here, and that means our amazing fall flavors are ready to go, hot, iced, or frozen. Delight your taste buds with flavors like spiced caramel apple, cinnamon roll, maple pecan, s'mores, and of course, pumpkin spice latte. And just when we thought fall couldn't get any better, we were voted Sinlaw's Choice for Best Bakery and Best Dessert. Little Cakes with Big Attitude in Alexandria or our Pineville location. Stop by today.
Good morning, golf fans around the Louisiana, Texas region. We are here at the Wildcat Invitational this morning here in Alexandria, Louisiana. Louisiana Christian University is hosting this one, and there are 9 teams in this from 8 different schools. And 446 Sports here will bring you coverage of hole 9 as they are coming into it. That's the one that's right in front of us. The one that you see on your screen there is just simply teeing off until some get down closer to us. We survived what was an hour fog delay, and and it still hasn't burned off. I am Doug Gann alongside of KP Miles, and KP, a little bit about the links course as you've played it a good number of times.
Yeah, Doug, this is a wind determined course. It's if the wind blows, which it's not right now, then this is not a hard golf course. If the wind is up, then it can be very difficult. And we've got some talented young kids out here this morning that I'm sure are going to do pretty well. Usually early in the morning like this, the wind is not up.
No, it just the one thing that's been so chaotic has been this fog that we're looking at right now, what they waited on is they had to get to where they could see the par threes.
Right. You got to be able to see the flag. You got 2 par threes on the front. One of them is number 6. It's going to play about 156 yards from the tees they're playing, and then the other one is number 8, going to play about 190. And you've got to be able to see both of those in order to play golf.
We're going to swing around, and the first team, we'll see if the fog lets us get down to this approach. It may not, so we'll just back out a bit and see if we can follow the coverage as they start to make their way up number 9.
Yeah, it looks like they've already teed off. This first threesome coming through is Tracy Schwab out of Jacksonville College, Junior Powell out of Texas A&M University. Which one is that, Doug?
Let me look. That's Texarkana.
Texarkana, and then the third golfer in this group is Charlie Ward. He's out of Texas A&M University in Victoria. So those are the 3 guys coming up number 9 right now.
And we'll get a little better look at them as that fog rolls away and gets out of here, and we'll keep the leaderboard up. Now, you can go to the scoreboard.clipped.com and keep up with some different things, but we'll have that updated for you as well. While we move through this, we're going to be out here throughout the morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning for this.
Looks like one of the young men has hit his second shot coming up number 9. He's a little bit short right in front of the green. Good spot to miss there. Get that up and down pretty easily. Got two players right in the middle of the fairway. Looks like they're about 145 yards out into this par 4 ninth.
And all teams will make it through here this morning. Of course, probably now we'll finish that final pairing, which is the final group, which is that LCU group, should be through now what we expect around noon or maybe 11:30 or so. But yeah, an hour delay on here, so we'll hopefully this fog will burn off in the next hour and you'll be able to see a little further down the fairway. But, we think that it's tough on us, KP. These guys are going to have to deal with the fog. They're going to have to deal with wet golf ball, the ground, all of that.
Oh, yeah, there's the elements out here are definitely one of the things you really can't control as far as the, playing golf. It's going to be a battle. They do have coaches that can spot for them in college. So we've got a coach up here next to the green on number 9. He can help his player find his ball. Only the coaches can do that. The parents cannot.
We ran into a couple of the parents this morning, a couple of grandparents that have made their way over here. So a lot of folks are in town for this Wildcat Invitational. And there's one, KP, that settles in nicely by the flag.
Yes, one of the approaches there. Looks like all 3 have hit their approach shot. One young man here is about 10 feet for birdie. One's in front of the green in a pretty good spot. The other one hit the middle of the green. He's got about 25 feet down the hill for birdie. So 3 good shots here to start off this morning first threesome.
As you certainly would expect.
Yeah, Doug, in these small colleges, there's not a lot of money for scholarships. There's not a lot of stuff like that. So these young men are not going to come play college golf and pay for it if it's not going to be beneficial to them. So you're going to probably have some pretty good golfers in these groups.
Unable to see the markings, so those of you at home that are watching or going back will see this. And KP, this young man who is getting set to go.
Yeah, he's got a little chip shot here right up the hill, back into the slope, going to help him control the golf ball. Chips it up, comes up a little bit short. He's got about 6 to 7 feet there for par up the hill. Not a bad shot.
And look, they just, no matter what you do, you can't, I don't think, if it's the first time you've played this course, get a gauge on what those greens are going to do with that moisture on it, with the way that things are right now.
Right, yeah. This morning they'll come out and the greens, the superintendent here will mow the greens. We'll just take the moisture off of them. But everywhere else there's moisture, and moisture can create spin and friction. It can also not do that, so it's very difficult early in the morning to play in the dew. You have to be real careful with trying to control your golf ball. That's one of the things, the challenges of college golf. They play during this time of year. It's not warm. It's not usually cold and wet. And, you have to battle the elements.
Well, we're certainly delighted that you guys are out here. Big thanks to KP that brings a whole lot more golf knowledge. I get to get relegated to camera duty today, which I'm okay with.
Well, it's kind of like Friday nights. Y'all have all the football knowledge. I just get to ask a few questions. So it's nice to be able to share a little bit of what I know about this game.
So what's the idea behind the grip and that putter that's there?
That's a long putter. A lot of guys use it. It takes a little bit of the hands out of the stroke. It's a little bit more stable. It was a couple years ago was banned. You can't anchor it to your chest anymore. Used to you could anchor it.
Right.
But it's just everybody has a little bit different approach to how they want to. The putting is the hardest part of the game.
That's about the only thing in the golf game that I do well, is putting. And that's a miss. We talked about it just a minute ago. It's just you don't know what you're going to have on these greens early on.
You don't. It's a difficult thing to get, again, they do mow them, and when they mow them, they take the moisture off of them. But it's difficult to, you want to come out here early in this round and just get a couple pars under your belt, especially this hole here. It's the second hardest hole on the golf course. You want to get out here it's the hardest hole on the golf course. So you want to get out here and get this par under your belt and go on to the next one.
This is a gentleman, I think, that had putted originally.
He is.
And went long.
Yep. He putted it a little long. He's back up the hill, probably about 10 feet for par here.
And again, we will keep that team leaderboard updated following each of the holes. There are 2 teams that started here on 9.
He lips that out, so it's going to be a 3-putt there for a bogey.
Finishes that first one out, gets it in, and I guess that's like the first points in football or baseball or anything like that. It's the hardest one to get down.
Yeah, again, this first hole is the number 1 handicap hole in the course. It's got water out of bounds left or water left, out of bounds right. So bogey's not a terrible score on the first hole when you tee off on the hardest hole on the golf course.
What factors into the fact that they all got out here on the range about 7 o'clock, anticipating an 8 a.m. start?
Right.
And then they sit for an hour.
Right, and they also sat out here on their tee boxes, so therefore they could not go and re-warm up, get loose again. Luckily, they're young kids; they're not going to be as tight as some of us adults are. That young man taps in for par, so we had 2 pars and a bogey on this first hole, and that's going to bring up the 9B group of Jackson Baird, Paul Chopin, and Isaac Anis from Texas A&M. So we have 2 Texas A&M and a Jacksonville College player here.
Blinn College, as we expected, Blinn College is going to be one of those that is solid in this one. They get a birdie on their first hole, so not really sure where they started, but we'll get that for you and get that updated on our leaderboard. But Blinn College now takes an early lead, and they've got to be the favorites in this one, I think.
Looks like we've got 3 young men once again in the fairway. We've got one back about 150.
Let's see how we're looking down the fairway. I think we may have some pretty good eyes on it. We're not far from being able to see things out here.
No, it's going to burn off pretty quick when it gets here. Here comes a shot in. Great shot from that young man from about 170 yards. He's about 25 feet behind the flag, middle of the green.
But I think if you want to, your shot on this one with that hole being so close to the front side of the green, you've got to go behind it or you're going to fall down the front part of it.
That's correct. He from that distance on your first hole, morning, you want to hit it in the middle of the green, 2-putt it and go to the next hole and just, not try to get real cute and make a birdie to start off with. Of course, we say that, and then the next young man just
buries it.
Stuck it in there about 3 feet. So he was like, well, forget that. We're going to try it the other way.
Look, and that's it's got to give you some confidence if you come in and you get this going on the toughest hole out here and you're able to come out there and put together a birdie.
Absolutely, it does. It gives you a lot of confidence. You're also going to go around here to 10, which is one of the easier holes on the golf course. And the back 9 plays a little bit easier here than the front. The back 9 has got really only 2 holes, number 11 and 18, that are not real birdie holes. The rest of them are. And so the back, you get a birdie on number 9 and go over to number 10, you're feeling real good about your back 9.
Another one that rolls back.
Yep.
Towards the back of it. So certainly a good-looking play here as both have reached the green in regulation.
That's 3 greens in regulation on your opening hole, like I said, and that's a big deal. Get some of the nerves out of the way and get you a par and go to the next one.
Again, we are 446 Sports and delighted to be out here. Main sports coverage of Louisiana Christian University, and we're excited when we had the opportunity to come out here and do some golf. This is, I think, our second tournament to cover out here at Links this year.
Yep. We had a little bit of coverage earlier for the 2025 City Match Play Championship that a young man from Shreveport, Mr. Chance Queen, was able to come out victorious in.
There you see that group that's walking in, and that's comprised, KP, we said, of who?
This is going to be Jackson Bird, Isaac Anis, and Paul Chopin. These are those 3 that are there, and they'll be all putting at birdie here.
I like one of them a little bit better. One of those birdie putts just a tad better.
Absolutely. It's like I said, when the sun does come out, this will burn off pretty quick. As you can see over here, they've got a spotter. They put a spotter by the water.
Right.
That way, if the ball goes over there, they can see it off the tee, which is pretty smart. In college golf, your coach can talk to you and coach you. That's it. No one else.
Look, if you're the second man here, you like this because you're going to get a good read on it from over here.
Yeah, real good read. You'll see the speed. This is the same putt earlier that the one young man in the first group 3-putted because it was a little quicker down the hill. These greens have become a little dormant. We played out here last week, and when the grass starts to cool off, they become dormant. They won't grow, and they speed up a little bit, which is why we kind of like fall golf. For us guys that play golf, we enjoy it.
Well, that first one that we saw on that 9A group had a putt that just probably went, I wouldn't say as far past the hole as it was starting, but it's what ended up in that 3-putt.
Yep. He was down the hill. Like I said, these are a little dormant. And plus, again, they sat around for an hour without any putting, any warming up. They were on their tee boxes versus if they had been in the range, they could have kept warming up, kept hitting putts.
And to come right into a wet
absolutely
green.
This is a young man here with a birdie putt down the hill about 25 feet. Down the hole, appears to be good speed, rolling right past it. Yep, just below the hole, about 3 feet up the hill for par.
And we have seen that on both the first two teams that have come through on a putt from that side of it. And so the one putt that we saw come up the hill, I think, had a little more consistency to it.
Yeah, you can be aggressive with putts up the hill. Downhill, you have to be real. You can't be aggressive. You can't really, give them a run. You have to be kind of tentative with a downhill putt. But below the hole is always where most golfers want to be because they want to be aggressive with the putt.
Looks pretty straight on.
Yeah, there's not much to this. It's going to break a little right to start and kind of go back a little left at the end. But this young man here should have got a real good read on it because he just saw it. So he ought to have a pretty good idea what it does.
Definitely aware of the speed of this.
Yep, he just watched that young man roll it a little long. He'll probably be a little cautious here, and I suspect he'll 2-putt it for a good opening par.
Of course, they don't have the benefit of seeing the previous group go through like we did.
Right.
Good looking putt. It may be a little fast on its
It was.
own.
It was a little bit kind of like the first young man that came through, a little bit low and fast. So going to be about 8 feet coming back up the hill for par. Now we have the third young man who hit it in there really close, but he is above the hole as well, so he's got to be careful with the speed going down the hill.
Well, if you can come out of this thing with a birdie, that's such a great start.
Absolutely, it is. He's got this lined up. Rolls the ball toward the hole. And missed it just a little bit left a little short, but tapped it in for par.
It looked like he was concerned a little bit with the speed of it that he had seen on those previous downhill ones.
Yep, when you watch two guys roll it down there below the hole like that, you definitely are going to be careful with what you're doing for sure.
I'm looking at him over at the bag, and you can see the frustration that's there. He knows that he gave a stroke away here.
Right. Young man rolls the putt up the hole and in for a par. Nice 2-putt.
Look, that's a big save there, too, after going past it. Because we saw on the prior hole or the prior grouping that wasn't the case.
Yep, this is such a mental game. It's the most mental game you can play. You have nobody to blame but yourself. Everything's on you. And so when you can open up with a par, it gives you some confidence to take with you the rest of the round.
We will watch all groups come through this 9th green today. We'll be over on 18 in the morning. I think this fog will be out of here, and you won't have this type of a start tomorrow. But, man, it makes for a different course from one day to the next.
It sure does. Here's Mr. Anise, I believe, rolling his putt up for par. knocks it in as well. So 3 pars from this group to start off this round, which should bring us to the group that started on number 8, which is Sebastian Kowalski, J.J. Walsh, and Lucky Boonsarat. Jacksonville College, Texas A&M Texarkana, and Texas A&M Victoria.
Jacksonville College is the one that, we talk about the 8 schools represented. Jacksonville College has an A team and a B team. Jacksonville College A team is certainly one of those that expects to contend in this along with that Blinn College team.
Well, that's wonderful. I know about B teams. I'm on the B team at 446, and y'all are the A team. I get it. I like it.
Blinn has birdied back-to-back holes, and they are at 2 under, and we'll get some updates on.
It appears that no one on number 9 tee box has hit one in the water. We've got 3 young men in the middle of the fairway looking at the flag here. That's a good start. Like I said, you got water left and out of bounds right, so it's a definite difficult place to start. Can't really see who is who, and we don't really have names, but we got 3 of them in the fairway here, and looks like about to have one hit an approach shot. Yeah, there's no trees out here, Doug. The trees that are on the golf course are pretty they don't really bother you. They don't really help you block any wind. So you can play here and over at Oak Wing, and wind is completely different out here because there's just nothing to slow it down. Looks like the young man from the right side of the fairway is coming up. He's about to hit his shot. Ball's up, coming toward the flag. Didn't see it come down.
It's back off the backside.
Okay.
They can see it on the screen.
Now I see it.
Settled with the pin, but it's well towards the back, and that's going to make for a very, very difficult putt.
Absolutely. It's again, trying to control this ball out of this moisture this morning, it's difficult. Sure his coach wanted him to hit the first green. He did that, but he'll have a hard 2-putt there.
Texarkana, Texas A&M, even. Louisiana Christian, even. Jacksonville A and B are even. Texas A&M San Antonio was +1. Victoria, Texas A&M Victoria +1. Collin +1. And Jarvis Christian off to a tough start. They're +3 after 1.
Young man hits his shot, comes up. Let's see here. There's one there. I don't see the second ball anywhere, so may have went in the bunker. It looks like the bunkers are going to be unplayable because of the rain we had over the weekend. I'm sure they're probably, we could ask the pro, but I'm sure they're probably going to be, normally you don't touch the golf ball. Here you're going to have to pull it out of the water. Normally it's nearest point of relief, no closer to the hole. If it's in the bunker, it's got to stay in the bunker. So there are 2 balls on the green here. Don't see the third one.
we're looking. So one of them is in that spot where a lot of those the folks have missed. I don't guess that's missed because you're going for the big part of the green.
Yeah, you're going for the fat part of the green on the first hole, and you know these kids are smart. They've looked at the scorecard. They know it's the number 1 handicap hole, so they're going for the the high percentage middle of the green. Trying to make sure that they get it on the green and get a par to start this round off. So yeah, it's not really a miss. You just have certain shots you can be aggressive with, certain yardages you can be aggressive with, and then certain yardages where you're just comfortable hitting in the middle of the green.
So we said San Antonio, Victoria, Collin, and Louisiana Christian on their first hole puts up a +2. Jarvis Christian loses another hole now, and they are at +4.
Yep. Yeah, they're going to have all their players, and it's a team cumulative thing. So you're going to have 4 players probably from each team,
and we'll take a look at the leaderboard for you as well, individual, and let you know how those guys are doing.
going to have our third golf event on 446. We go from none to 3 real quick in a couple weeks. The links on the Bayou Oaks Cup, the first ever cup, coming up in a couple weeks at Links in Oak Wing. Should be fun to watch as well.
And they'll play that like the Ryder Cup, is that right?
It's a Ryder Cup event. Should have happened a long time ago. These 2 courses are less than a driver length apart, depending on how far you hit it. And so, yeah, it's the first time ever we're having this, and it's going to be a great event.
We will verbally keep this up for you as a little technical difficulty with our scoreboard there.
All right.
Unknown caller.
And we'll turn that completely off.
Young man just barely missed the green. Looks like he's putting it. He is putting it up down the hill, turning a little bit left. Looks like a really good putt, and it is. Barely missed. Be an easy tap-in par for that young man to start off his round.
That almost seemed, KP, like a better spot to be in than on the green and up the hill.
Yeah, that putt went uphill and then downhill. Was a pretty easy putt to two-putt, not to make. But then this young man here's got about a 55-footer down the hill that's going to be quick. He's going to have to be real careful with the speed here. And you're right, he hadn't seen the other 2, putt yet, so he doesn't know that it's fast. There it goes down the hill, breaking a little bit to the right. Looks like a great effort, and it is going to be
rolled that one up well.
Yep, about 2 feet for par. Great effort there from that young man from about 50 feet. That's one of the things you have to do in golf. You have to get out here and get the speed of the greens. The speed of the greens change every day. Depending on, if it rains overnight, your superintendent can't mow your greens. And if it doesn't rain overnight, they're mowed. So, just the conditions change not only day to day, they change hole to hole and depending on the time of day.
KP, we told you that Blinn was out to that -2 lead, and they're the overall leaders in here. 4-man teams are made up of it. Ben Potter leads the way for Blinn at -1. Brock Talamantes is also at 1 under, and Brody Horsack also at 1 under. So all 3 from Blinn College, which means that one of their teammates had a bogey, but still, anytime you put up 3 birdies to start off, they're all playing on 3 different holes.
Yep. This young man rolls the putt down and just barely lips it out. Very good putt, about 2.5, 3 feet below the hole. And those guys, they're not starting on number 9. On the front 9 here, you have 1 and 2 are 2 of the easier birdie holes on the golf course. 1's a par 5, 2's a short par 4. Your tough holes on the front are going to be 3, 4, and 9.
Texas A&M Victoria's Florian Simon has joined the top of the leaderboard at 1 under.
First young man just barely missed, so he's going to have a 3-putt bogey, which is pretty common. We've seen all 3 people from that long distance have 3-putted it for bogey.
the only team under par today, KP, is Blinn. They are ranked number 11 in the country.
Wow.
In their NIA. So you got them. Jacksonville's team is number 14, and Collin is number 30. Looking down that leaderboard, Texas A&M, Texarkana and Texas A&M Victoria are both even, and then one over par is Collin, Jacksonville A and Jacksonville B. Louisiana College is at +2. Texas A&M San Antonio is 2 over, and Jarvis Christian is at 4 over.
Well, now we've got the group that started on number 7 coming through. It's going to be 7A. It's Sam Clare out of Jacksonville College, Rylan Caldwell out of Texas A&M Texarkana, and then Brandon Grattan out of Texas A&M Victoria. They're going to be the group that is on this 9th hole now.
KP, you talked about this hole being one of the most difficult or the highest handicap today. Looking at the early stats on this, there's been 4 pars and 1 bogey on this hole, but in hole number 3 looks like it's playing a little more difficult. It's got a bogey and 3 doubles.
Yes, 3 is going to be a very difficult hole as well. 3 and 4 and 9 are the difficult holes on the front 9.
Got a little bit of a delay in the action, a little bit of pause, and
yeah, it looks like we haven't had anybody tee off yet on number 9 here for this group, so there'll be a little bit of pause in the action.
so you look at some of them, KP, and you told us which holes were. You said 3, 4,
and 9.
And 9.
Yep.
Hole number 4 has 1 birdie, 4 pars, and 2 bogeys on it already. So we're looking at some of those. Let's get back.
Yeah, it's a 442-yard par 4, but it's always back into the wind, so it's going to play longer.
So Blinn has given a shot back. They were sitting at 2 under. They were the only team under par today.
Right.
And now they're 1 under. So still leading the way. Texarkana and Victoria both sitting there at even. Everyone else above par. And we're starting. It looks like to see that group come in, and they've seem to all have played it along that right side.
Yeah, that's the fence area over there. You have now, because of the rain, there is a low-lying area over there. You can have your ball, a lot of times when it's dry, to just kick through that fence and go in those yards. But,
well, that's the spotters, though.
Yep.
Because these guys that are playing are not.
Yep, they're actually walking up now. I can see a couple balls in the fairway. But, yeah, this is going to be the one spot on the golf course where you're going to need someone to make sure that they can see whether it's went over the fence, or you can easily see it when it hits the water. But so yeah, 3, 4, and 9 are going to be difficult for these guys on the front 9. The back 9, it's usually just 11 and 18 that are difficult. You'll see some bunch of birdies on 1 and 2. You'll see a bunch of birdies on 7 and 5 and 7. 1, 2, 5, 7 are the birdie holes on the front 9 here at the links.
And you see on your screen that trio that's making their way up here. Some of these holes have 4 guys on it. Some have 3, just the staggered way that it goes.
Yep.
But I believe this is the third group that we've seen come through? Or is this group number 4?
This is number 4.
Yeah, because we had 2 on the first.
That's right.
On the first group.
Yeah, we've been out here long enough to have 2 cups of coffee this morning. That first one was gone pretty quick.
And you hear that KP talk about that water. That is that water you're seeing on your screen that is off to the left as you're teeing off. Now, not all of it comes into play on this hole. Some of it will come in on 18.
Yeah, the 18th and 9th green are split here by the largest body of water here on the golf course. It's 18 is all over water. Y'all will see that tomorrow. Your tee shot's completely over water. And then 9 is just a difficult, you got to hit it straight. You can't hit it left, you can't hit it right. It's just got to be straight.
Well, and you see now on your screen also behind that are those houses that you see, all of them lined with fences. Don't you hit the ball in there, it's gone. You don't get to hop over and get it.
You do not.
They frown on that out here.
They do, and those houses, I'm sure, I know a friend of mine lives in one of them. You have to have some different insurance because you're going to get a ball through a window. That's just going to happen.
Golf course insurance.
Yep, that's right. And so, yeah, you're going to do that. I've personally hit a couple of houses over there myself. Try to avoid that if I can, but
Blinn still sits through 2 at 1 under. Texas A&M, Texarkana, and Victoria both sit even par. And we'll keep you updated on that throughout.
Looks like we have 2 young men in the fairway, one over here to the right in the rough a little bit. He just came up, but and he hit a great shot in there about 5 feet left of the hole for birdie.
Look, and you see where it settles in. And
yep.
I got to believe if you want to be anywhere, that's about
the
where
spot
you want to be. Yeah,
you want to be there or just below the hole putting up the hill. But see, the way this works is the first guy that hits is going to be the one furthest away from the hole. He's what we call out.
Right.
So that guy just hit the best shot of the group because he's the furthest away, and he just stuck it in there about 5 feet. Here comes another one up to the hole, and he rolls it just past that one.
Jeez.
And it goes down there to about 5 feet as well. So we've got 2 balls in here tight on number 9 from these young men.
That's 2 pretty good golf shots. And as you said, it's the 2, I mean, they go in reverse order, so the further out.
Yep. This is Sam Clare, Rylan Caldwell, and Brandon Gratton here.
Where are they from?
They are from, Sam is from Jacksonville College.
Okay.
Rylan's Texarkana, or Texas A&M Texarkana. And then Brandon is Texas A&M Victoria.
All right. And they are looking to climb back in it from here. They're both of those squads sit at even. Look like they'll be making a charge here.
Yep.
That's just 2 of the best shots around the hole that we've seen this morning early.
No question. Very good shots. The strategy on number 9, you either push it down the fairway with driver and try to get you a short shot in. The further you lay back on number 9, the wider the fairway is, so you have more room to miss. So that's a strategy that they'll decide with their coaches and their practice rounds. A lot of these kids come out and play practice rounds the day before. They scout the golf course.
Well, that's another one that just lands and checks up.
Yep.
So all 3 of those around the hole.
That's right. They'll come out on probably yesterday and they'll play a practice round. They'll scout the golf course and they'll decide, in their mind, what they're going to hit, where they're going to hit it. Most of these guys are going to come up with a plan to attack the golf course, and they're going to stick with it. They're going to stick with it.
We saw that group from Blinn last night out at Walk-Ons. They came out and brought their team out. We're enjoying a little bit of football on the big screens and hanging out there.
You were at Walk-Ons on a Sunday?
Walk-Ons on a Sunday. That's about the only time I have to go anywhere.
Well, I get it. I get it.
We'll be in Lafayette this evening and tomorrow night. So we'll get all of this done this morning and then make our way down I-49 to Lafayette to talk some high school football.
Right. I know there's a big game down there this week with
Turling's Catholic and St. Thomas More.
Turling's Catholic and St. Thomas More, I guess, is kind of Lafayette's version of Ash and West Monroe. It's a big battle, and
it is.
And there's not a whole lot of love lost there. I think it's a pretty intense rivalry.
Both are wanting the win very badly. Let's just say.
Right.
Here, getting set in. Of course, you'll see this young man who was the 3rd shot in. And now, what does that do to you, KP? Because that was the 3rd ball that was shot, which meant he was the closest on there. But how things change on that mid-range game.
Well, and a lot of times in golf, we all have our favorite yardage, and you're trying to set yourself up on a par 4 or par 5 to get your favorite yardage. So you're going to take a club off the tee that's going to get you your favorite yardage, And everybody has that. He didn't hit a bad shot here. He's 15, 18 feet above the hole. It's a good shot, especially this early in the morning. And again, this is not really a birdie hole. This is a, take your medicine, make you a par, and go to the next one. If you sneak a birdie in, you get lucky.
Blinn at -1 on the day, 1 under. They're leading the way. Texas A&M Victoria has dropped a spot. They are at 1 over, but Colin moves up to even.
This young man's putt rolling down the hole. Looks like it's moving pretty fast. Rolls past like most. That's about the 5th one we've seen that's rolled at least 5 or 6 feet by. Again, these greens are dormant. The grass does not grow. They've overseeded it with rye, but it's going to take a little while to come in. So they're going to be quicker than normal. And they're quick now for about a month while this grass grows in. Young man that hit the second shot in here. He's about 5 feet above the hole, breaking down to the right a little bit. Curling to the right, and he makes the first birdie of the day on number 9. Well, nice birdie.
There's a second. There was one a little bit on that first group
Correct.
that came in, that young man.
Right. Nice putt. Delicate down the hill, broke a little right, and he knocked it right in there.
That one back-to-back birdies on this hole. So
that's highly unusual and well done here.
And that's a tough putt that is missed there.
Yeah, that's the third 3-putt from up there, and I mean it's just again they're not getting to see this from the other groups. It's difficult, to be above that hole. These greens are quick, and that's the third one we've seen that's done that.
But again, you do get a couple of birdies out of this group.
Yep, bogey doesn't kill you. So now this group coming up now is going to be the 7B tee time. It's Jacksonville College's Matthew DeBostic. And it's Jay Stovall from Texas A&M Texarkana. And then Florian Simon, because he's in Florida.
Because he's not from here.
Right. Simon would be here. That's Texas A&M Victoria.
Yeah, he's if he's down where I'll be this evening, he's a Simon.
Yeah, he's a Simon. That's right.
He's a Simon the rest of the way.
That's right. That's exactly right. I agree.
Let's jump over to the player side of it and see what's going on there. And you've got KP 6 young men at the 1 under leaderboard. Ben Potter at Blinn, Texas. He is through 2. Blake Francis for Louisiana Christian is at 1 under through 2. Brock Talamantez is at 1 under. Brody Horsack also. Both of those gentlemen from are 1 under. Florian Simon from Texas A&M Victoria is 1 under, and Zachary Mesh from Jacksonville's B team, Jacksonville out of Texas, not out of Florida, is at 1 under as well, and that's your leaders atop the board. They are all resting at 1 under. And we will see, you told us on this hole, Florian Simon. Is that correct?
That is correct. On this hole currently coming up is going to be Florian Simon, Jack Stovall, Jax, J-A-X, and Matthew DeBaco. And they're coming up right now.
Jack Stovall is at +1. And who'd you say this? Sebastian is at +1 also.
Yep. So it's
a good shot there into the tee that's just into the flag that's just a little behind it. And I don't think you mind being right there because you take the slope out of it.
You do, and you also take the speed. A lot. The firmer you have to hit it, the more chance you have to get it offline. With being above the hole, most good putters would rather be just above the hole. It takes one of the variables out, which is the speed.
That one rolls back a little further and Comes down the hill just a bit and stops.
Yep, another good shot there. Again, middle of the green, not a bad deal at all.
Boy, it's hard to pick that ball up out of the fog when it's coming in, though.
It is, and it's trying real hard. It's going to be difficult for it to burn off. Hopefully it does before we get done. But I see 2 balls. I don't see the third one yet. That means the third one missed the green.
And you get a look at that group that's coming in. Nobody's looking towards the water, though, so.
No, they're and actually, I only see 2. So this may be a twosome because I don't see the third. Oh, wait, he's up here. Never mind. Okay, he's up here with his coach. So.
And it looks like his went off the back of it. We'll swing around.
Yep.
Now, one of the things that's, boy, right, KP, on your screen,
Uh-huh.
You've got this bunker that's here that's full of water. What will happen if you're in that?
Well, actually, I'm going to step away for the restroom for just a second. I'm going to let Mr. Joey Savage, the head pro, explain that to you.
There you go. Joey Savage joins us. And Joey, we're talking about this bunker that's off to the front right or front left as they're coming in. It's on the screen now. Ball goes in there. What's the play?
Today they're playing the bunkers as ground under repair, so they're going to be able to take the ball out of the bunker completely to the nearest point of relief that's not closer to the hole and take relief out of that. Had they played in the bunker, if they were to hit the ball and it went in that water, they would have to take the nearest point of relief in the sand and drop it. And sometimes that option is not available depending on how much water is in there, and then there's actually, you would have to take an unplayable lie. So to avoid, and it cost them a shot penalty, so to avoid that, we just went ahead and made the bunkers ground under repair with all the rain that we got yesterday morning. The crew with the shotgun start this morning did not have time to pump the bunkers, push up the bunkers, remove the sealed rake and everything. So we just made the decision to go ahead and take them out of play.
There you go. We have seen this hole has been played about middle. We've seen some birdies on it already, and we've seen some that have gone back where these are will make for a difficult free putt going down because I don't think the speed, it's difficult to gauge that speed on it just so early in the morning.
Yeah, I think right now what you see is with the fog still kind of laying down, that's going to make the greens putt a lot slower, even though they've been mowed and rolled and everything else. But I will say that the pin location is much more accessible today than it will be tomorrow. So they've got the easier of the pin location, so you probably will see a birdie or two. And a lot of times in these events, whenever you have 36 holes being played on one day, the second round, the scores get a little bit lower because they're more familiar with the golf course.
When you prepare to change the course over for tomorrow, what goes into that? Whose judgment is where that goes?
Well, as far as pin locations go,
Right.
we typically we sit with the host coach. So Josh and I sat down. I showed him some pin locations that we've used in other events in the past. So a lot of times we'll recycle pin locations, and because these are tournament pins, typically we try to make to where there's a good variety. There's front, there's back, there's middle pins, there's left, there's right. There's a little bit of everything out there. So, I show him what that is, and he says yes or no. And then actually yesterday I went out and dotted on the greens with some paint where he needed to cut the holes for each day and then gave them a pin sheet to find the dots. But typically, as setup goes, I mean, any input that the coach would have on that is what we will do and go from there.
Is there a large variance? That one's front of the green. Will it change a lot tomorrow?
It will change quite a bit on that hole. I'm not going to say where it's at yet, but
Right.
let's just say it'll be a whole lot more difficult than where it is today.
There you have it.
Today they're a little bit easier on most holes than they will be tomorrow. They're It'll be a little more few tucked pins and
Right.
closer to the edges of the greens. With 36 holes today, we were kind of stressing on pace of play, so we didn't want to put too many difficult pins. There's a few out there that would play pretty tough, but not as many today as it will be tomorrow.
We remind you to check out scoreboard.clipped, that's CLIPPD, for tournament coverage on keeping up with everything. We will make one trip through with this group, and then we'll be back here with them in the morning for coverage.
That's right, yep. Tomorrow we'll be doing a shotgun start. It'll be a reverse shotgun, so we'll catch them coming up 18 on the back nine tomorrow.
And that's one we showed a little bit earlier, and we'll swing the cameras. We're waiting for that group to come across. It's the one that we see off to the right here that plays pretty much over that water. Is that right?
That's right. They're going to play the back tees, which from that back tee, middle of the green's about 206 yards, which 195 of that's over the water. So.
Yeah, that's interesting, and you and I talked off air this morning too, and you can talk yourself into a lot of things when you bring the water into it and the carry and the houses and all of those things out there.
Yeah, anything that's visually intimidating sometimes can get to the golfer. So you kind of almost have to visualize that stuff not even being there and just go through your routines and commit to the shot that you're hitting, and that'll help them out tremendously on that hole.
A little bit of a delay, so let's take this moment to tell you that Ben Potter is now at 2 under through 3 on the day. So Ben, one of those golfers from that the better ranked teams, I guess 11th is where they're at in the country in the NAIA, and he sits atop the leaderboard at 2 under. But Brandon Gratton from Texas A&M Victoria, Blake Francis from the host school LCU, Brock Talamantes, Brody Horsack, Florian Simon, and Zachary Mesh are all at 1 under on the day. And let's check out your team stats. Blinn had been leading that earlier, and they still do. They're the only team that is under par for the day. They're 2 under, set atop the leaderboard, and then everyone else in plus territory. So the 2 even teams dropped a stroke on that one and are at +1. But, boy, going through 9 will get you.
Yes, 9 is actually the number 1 handicap hole on the golf course. It's not the longest hole. It's just about 400 yards from that back tee where they're playing today. It'll be playing a little under 400 with the pin location today, but very tight driving hole. I mean, you can't. There's no room for error. You just ride the cart path. You're going to probably go out of bounds, and then if you hit anything running to the left, it will catch that slope and run off into the water. So,
And so far this morning, we've seen everybody down the fairway. There's not anybody that has been taken out of play in this one thus far.
Yeah, well, the good news is most of these kids could hit it pretty far, and they're hitting an iron off that tee, so they're taking
take the bend out of it a little bit.
That's
yeah,
right. Yeah, they're just going to try to hit it. Look, the best way to play number 9, in my opinion, is to hit it. You can barely see it kind of starting through the fog. The 150 pole there, the little black and white barber stripe pole out there. If you just can hit it to that, from that point backwards actually is the widest part of the fairway. So that makes that hole play. You're going to have a little longer club. You're not going to have wedge in if you were to hit like 3-wood or a driver and try to hit it up here in the narrowest part of the fairway. But that I think that gives you the best opportunity to make par, which is a really good score on that hole. So.
Indeed it is, and just getting out there. And KP was telling us, I said they work their way with their club of what they like to hit. So getting somewhere that's comfortable for them off the tee box.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, if it were me, and I'm playing today, I'm going to try to get my distance to that 150 based on the conditions and the wind and the wet and the fog and everything else, and say, okay, what club gets me to that, or slightly even before that. And then if I hit it to the 150 or slightly before, I still have a pretty short iron into this green. It's either an 8 or a 9 iron normally. I'll hit into that green, which is still fine.
Don't let him lie to you, Doug. He is driving. He just hits it down there and tries to make birdie. That's okay, though.
Look, this is good to have college golf out here. Coach Josh and them, I know they were excited about coming out here for the Wildcat Invitational. So how long does it take putting something like this together?
We've been planning this for months, at least on his end for sure.
Right.
And I know this is kind of the first year. I know they've had an event in the past here, but nothing probably even to this level. I thought this is something that he wants to grow and get some more schools and involved and have more kids come and play. And it really just things like this get to showcase Alexandria and links and the golf course and what we have to offer, and gets people coming in and using the facility, which is what the goal is out here, is to, the more bodies we can get through here, and see this place, because it really is a gym that a lot of people, either haven't played, or in some of the non-golfers sometimes don't even know we're back here where we are. So I think the kids will enjoy it. It's not an overly difficult golf course. The actually conditions today, I would say, once this fog kind of lifts, if the wind stays like this, you should see some pretty good scores, I would think. So,
Well, we're looking forward to it. Keeping up with that, again, we'll be out here in the morning. You talked about tucked back in here the way it is behind the soccer fields and the baseball fields that are there. Off of Vandenberg, which is off of Coliseum or Highway 28 West, for those of you that are getting a vantage point of it. And the sign that was up that said Links on the Bayou and was pointing back this way, of course, just covered up with the fog and couldn't see that. That was, you had to know where you were going this morning.
Pretty much, yeah. You kind of got to know, but I think once you get here one time, I know sometimes some of the maps don't update. It actually sends people in the neighborhood. And
Right.
They call, where are you at? How do you get in? And you got to kind of explain it to them. You got to go through the ball fields and all that. But, we're tucked back here, kind of secluded, which is nice. Because
Right.
if you're coming back here, we know why you're here, coming to play golf. But, on the weekends, it can get a little tricky, because if you got soccer fields and baseball fields full, the parking's down the road. It's crazy. But back here, we got a pretty large parking lot, and everybody gets here. But the overall facilities at Johnny Downs and the golf course are very well utilized, and we are lucky to have something like this in Alexandria.
Oh, without a doubt. And this complex that's over here, like you alluded to, with the soccer fields, with the baseball fields that are all turf now, on a Saturday morning in the spring, over the summer, it is crowded out here.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, sometimes if you're a golfer and you're leaving here and you're trying to get to that Vandenberg to get out of here, it may take you a few minutes to wait on the traffic just to ease out of that parking lot.
Well, hats off to you. It is a beautiful course out here. There's no doubt about it. And we invite anyone that has not come out and played to come out and take a look at it.
Absolutely. Just give us a call in the Pro Shop, 318-473-1331, and call and make your tee time. You'll be pleased with it. Like I said, and right now the golf course, considering all the rain, is still in great shape. Greens are actually rolling pretty quick. I know this fog is going to slow them down a touch, but once the sun comes out, dries them up a little bit, they'll be faster this afternoon. We get a little wind blowing. They'll have to pay attention to some downhill putts, because it can get away from them pretty quick.
Well, we saw a little bit of that early on, too, on 9 where we're at. Those that were behind it were consistently going 5 or 6 feet beyond.
Yeah, I mean, that pin location right there is definitely tricky, especially if you to the player's right would be our left as we're looking at it. That's going to be the faster side if they're above it from that side, because there's more slope there. Once it dries out, they're going to have to think about it. I would much rather be. Matter of fact, if you look there on camera, there's a ball just a few feet short of the edge of the green. I would rather miss it right there than I would be anywhere right or left of that pin, or even long.
So we saw one earlier that was just off to our left, which is to their right coming in, and he putts it up through that, gets close to the hole, and gets the par out of it, and the ones behind it certainly struggling.
Yeah, anytime like I said, on this hole especially, it's not whenever you're not attacking the hole, if you're not hitting driver, and some of these kids will, because if they drive it straight and they feel like that's their best club to hit off the tee, that's what they're going to do. They're going to play their game. I'm just telling you how I would play it.
Right.
I'm looking to make a par on this hole and get out of there, because really the front 9 to me plays the most difficult. The back 9's where you can score a little better. You've got to get through the gauntlet. 1 through 4 typically play pretty difficult.
Right.
When you get through the neighborhood and you hit 5, 6, 7, those 3 holes are fairly easy. 6, even though it's a par 3, depending on the pin location, which today I think is front right, that's gettable for these guys. It's a big portion of the green on the front part of that green. It's definitely the easier of the pin locations. and then you got 5's a short par 4, and 7 should be a reachable par 5 for most of these kids. When you hit 8 and 9 again, you got a 190-yard par 3 and a 400-yard par 4. But 8 to me is probably it's the largest of the par 3 greens to hit, but it's always sits at a funny angle if the wind blows and this and that. But in where the pin is today on 8, it's back right, so you're going to want. There's a great shot. Oh, almost went in the hole there.
Goodness.
Coming into 9. That was very close. He should be able to take advantage of that. But 8 and 9 there. It's kind of like, okay, let's make pars on these 2 holes and get to the back 9.
Right. What kind of a time do they get in? Are they able to come in and play around yesterday and to get a practice round in?
They did. Yeah, there was some. They had made some tee times early afternoon yesterday. Most of the schools came in and played and got to see the course and just kind of get a feel for it and maybe map out a little strategy on certain holes, certain teams.
You can only study the aerial view so much without getting a hands-on look at it.
Right. You've got to be able to really get out there and hit some shots, see how the greens are, see if they're firm or soft or fast or slow, and really understand what's going on out there to formulate a game plan.
Then you played in the great afternoon that it was, and you jump back into fog this morning, but that is all but burned off today now.
Yeah, it is on the way out. We can start to see across the course now.
That one.
I'm not sure where that one ended up.
Off left over here is to the back side and left of where we're at. So that's going to be a pretty tough challenge. Looks like it has to go up over a little bit of a hill and back down the hill. So that's going to be a pretty tough putt.
Yeah, that definitely will be up and down for sure as far as the slope and undulation of the greens.
And it's the shots from back on this end, Joey, that we have seen them roll it down the hill because they're trying to put a little extra in it, and then it goes past the hole, and we've seen some 3 putts from here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably take into consideration that, hey, there's a little fog, dew, wet, moisture on the greens, which should slow it down, and maybe they're giving that a little bit too much thought and consideration right now. And then, the greens, like I said, they've been rolling pretty quick, so we'll see. I mean, again, if I were, playing, again, I'm trying to just make my par get out of there, but, I'm always going to err on the side of caution also. Hopefully by now, when it comes to putting, I got some glaring eyes from KP about that. No, I'm more of a John Daly type on the golf course. I like to go for it, but putting, I'm a little bit more conservative.
There's a long one coming up now. And just for those that are what's the ruling on when the pin is in, when the pin is out, when you're putting?
The rules changed there a few years ago on that. It used to be when you were on the green, you had to take the flag out. You could have somebody tin the flag and then pull it out as a ball. But now you can leave the flag in at any point. You don't have to leave it in or out. It's up to the player. The old saying, "Old dog and new tricks."
Right.
I'm an out guy as long as I can see it. Just because I know that there's some numbers that say if the flag's in that there's more of a chance for the ball to go in the hole. But I tell you what, I've had the flag will help in my opinion, the pin will help a bad shot more than it will help a good shot. A good shot's still going to go in the hole. So.
Well, it helps our broadcast being able to see it a little bit more too.
See, he left that considerably short. Now he's going to have about a 6-8 footer coming back down that hill. That's going to break pretty good left to his right. Definitely be quicker. Yeah, once the KP's asking me about the greens, one thing that we did last winter, which kind of helped us going into the spring, as far as the greens go, we were actually actively growing grass all winter on the greens, which normally they go dormant, which it's all dependent on weather. The colder it gets, the more dormant they'll go, but we'll still try to grow grass. The more heat that you can retain in the short grass, the more you can grow. It doesn't take much, and they'll retain a little bit of color that way too. obviously, normally if they go dormant, there's a good little chip. But again, ran it by a few feet, a little aggressive. That's going to be a tricky little putt there too.
That was difficult. You had a lot to get over on that little on that chip that was there, having to get up the hill.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough judging, right now with the fringes being as wet from the fog. You can see all the tracks from the mowers and the footprints and everything. That dew will slow it down a lot, and so you don't ever want to leave it short and not get it on the green. So that they're being a little bit more aggressive to make sure it gets through that. So it does play a factor in the type of shot that they're playing when they hit those. He tried to putt that, which I think is the right play, honestly. He just, again, that dew, the fringe, left it a little short, which is the miss, but he'd probably like that to have been a little bit closer than what he was.
But again, it's just it's so difficult to judge right there, and that's what makes this hole the handicap that it is. This is that putt that concerned us a little bit because he left it so short.
Missed it. He missed it on the low side of the hole too, because it does that putt has a lot of break, and it's you have to hit it with so much break and hit it so soft that it's difficult to make.
Well, it goes against a lot of what you normally would think about on that, and so it is difficult. We've not seen one of those putts made today.
See, above the hole, tricky. Now let's see here. We should see this is for a birdie, I believe.
Now these groups, the schools play in different pairings all throughout. It's not a foursome of one team that's coming through that we've seen.
Correct.
Are they able to chat with their via their phones or anything to say, hey, look, you got to watch this? Or
I think the coach has a degree of when he can talk to him and when he can't.
Right.
I'm not sure exactly what NAIA rules are and how that works, but I know that there's times where they're not supposed to, and when they can, and when they can't. And maybe the head coach can converse anytime. I'm not real sure. But as far as the players go, I mean, they can communicate with each other while they're on the golf course. But with the way that they're scoring, everything's on their phones.
Right.
So they're able to see the same thing that you and I are looking at on the leaderboard, so they know what's going on.
Yeah, that's a pretty good website.
Which right now, early on leaderboard, that's going to change considerably throughout the rounds. Once it'll start taking shape, once they get into that second round this afternoon, probably, the first 9 of that second round, you'll really see some where kind of everybody's going to be falling unless there's some big gaps, which there may be because you do have some pretty strong teams in the field from what I understand. So,
well, that makes for a long day.
It absolutely does. Walking 36, I don't know if I can ride 36, much less walk 36. So, but that's why I'm more than double most of these kids' age. I can't do that anymore. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to KP.
Joey, thank you.
Yep.
The pro here out at Links on the Bayou, and Joey Juan Savage doing a great job of getting this thing in the books today. So well done on that. KP joins us back here.
Looks like we have 4 young men in 3 in the fairway, one over here to the right side a little bit, which is not unusual. That water, of course, the penalty is for the water, you get to drop it where it crossed and play it there. If you hit it out of bounds, you got to re-tee it. So it's a little bit different. We got 4 young men all in play here.
What I like about now that fog is out of here is it gives us a good opportunity to see the actual shot itself come in. Earlier, we weren't able to see anything but the ball coming in.
Yeah, first young man here has about 100 yards. He's over there next to the cart path. Playing a little shorter today because it's in the front. Ball comes in. Nice shot off to the left side. Kind of banks it down. Going to be about 15 feet above the hole, but going to be quick.
Still a tough spot to be there.
Next young man's got about 100 yards as well. Pin on the front. Should be nothing more than probably a wedge. He flies it just a little bit past the hole, spins it a little bit. He's going to have a quick putt going down the hill as well, but good shot. Looks like the fourth competitor in this group's got about 90 yards. He's a little bit further down the fairway. Probably going to be really aggressive with this. Ball's up, headed towards the hole. Comes up just a little bit short, but just where Joey was saying he'd like to be, right there below the hole, putting up the hill. That young man that's below the hole coming up the hill has got a better chance to make it than the one that's closer to the left.
Well, there you have it. They'll make their way up to the hole. And
So,
again, delighted to be out here today covering day one of the Wildcat Invitational.
So this morning, Doug, I thought I saw you with a strawberry Pop-Tart. How was that?
It was really good, yes, and it was certainly well received. Our friends at Little Cakes with Big Attitudes, I believe.
Yep, they're the ones that provided those this morning. One of the owners there, Miss Bridget Vaughn, is in charge of a foundation that we're going to be having a 5K run coming up in April, and so always go by there. Their coffee's excellent, and it's always good to see Miss Bridget.
I'm going to tell you the problem with that place, KP.
Uh-oh.
Right here on the air, I'm going to tell you the problem with it. It's too close to my house, and it's too easy to stop by there and grab those keto cheesecakes or the keto cupcakes, and those aren't for me, of course. I get the actual cupcakes, but, yeah, it's too close to the house.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but everything they have there is sugar-free. You knew that, right? They don't charge you for the sugar.
That's correct.
The sugar's free.
And that is on Jackson Street Extension. If you're here in town and you go back and watch this, then you certainly make a trip by Little Cakes with Big Attitudes.
Yep.
You won't be disappointed.
Not at all. Not at all. So, yeah, it's starting to burn off now. We can actually see the approach shots coming in. I can get some yardages for us, and that'll help us a little bit. But got the first young man coming up for this third shot here at the par 4. He's a little bit short of the bunker. Looks like he's got a pretty good lie. Can see the ball well.
KP, Micah Major is watching. He said when he played for LC back in 2016 to 2020, had tournaments at the links, but never had this many teams in our home tournaments. Well done.
Yep.
And we agree with that. Well done by Coach Josh, doing a tremendous job. And then, of course, Chuck just being Chuck.
Spears or Perkins?
No, Perkins.
Perkins. Well, do we have a Perkinism? Is that what we got coming up?
Just
Chuck being Chuck.
This is hole 9 that we are on today. We'll be on 9 today and 18 tomorrow.
Yeah, this looks like this should be, if I'm correct here, this is going to be Niles Sojo, Jeff Romer, Cody Peters, and Tristan Walker. I believe that's who this is. If I didn't miss anybody while Mr. Juan Sandwich was helping us out here with the broadcast.
Again, we will see each of the teams in here on 9 today.
Young man rolls the putt down toward the hole. Should break a little bit right. It is, and he drains it. Great
Wow,
putt
that's
right there.
probably one of the best putts that we've seen from up the hill.
It is for sure.
All morning.
Judge the speed now. The greens are going to slow down a little bit. You're going to have the moisture coming off of them. So he judged that perfectly, though.
This is one that golf pro Joey One Savage said he would like to be at on that side of it. This one looks like pretty makeable until you saw the putt that was just rolled in a moment ago.
Yeah. This young man should have got a pretty good read from the last one.
Ben Potter still leads the way. He is at 2 under on the day. Junior Power is 1 under. Blake Francis 1 under. Florian Simon 1 under. Those are through 4.
That young man rolls that down there. It's going to be a bogey. He missed a little short and chipped up. So now we've got 2 birdie looks here. One from just short of the green up the hill. Should be a good putt. Aggressive. Be able to be aggressive with this one. Putts away, coming up the green, just barely misses to the right. That'll be a tap-in 4, which again is nothing bad on this hole.
No, but I think that when you've got that good of a look at it, well, he's gonna wish he had that one back.
Well, just got a text from a friend of mine down at golfballs.com.
Okay.
Mr. Gene Fortier is down there. He is the retail manager there at Golf Balls in Lafayette. And he's watching the broadcast down there. Apparently there's some young men that he's probably either taught or fit for equipment that are playing here.
Tell him to come by and see us at Pizza Village tonight, where we'll be from 6:30 to 7:30.
Yep. If you're looking for golf equipment or instruction, Gene is the guy you want to go see down in Lafayette. He is excellent at what he does. I have done a lot of business with him and trust him with my equipment.
That will get us through this group.
Yep. Should be the next group coming up. Should be Aiden Morales, Moose Akbal, Adrian Rodriguez, and Zachary Mesh. This should be the group that teed off on 4. So it was over here to our left when we started.
Well, one a little bit further than we've seen out today.
Yeah, he's way back, laid up way back there in the wide side. He's going to be about 200 yards out here on this hole, which, like Joey was saying, this is the wide side, or the shorter you are, the more room you have.
But again, if you've got that shot in your bag and you like it,
yeah, well, that's
looks like he strikes that one pretty well.
Yep, his shot's coming up. Did not see it land.
Nope.
Don't know which. Yep. So, but that's a little bit far back, especially when you know, with this front pin. So if that pin is on the back of the green, there's a 45-yard difference in this second shot, because this green is about 45 to 47 yards wide. So, you know, with the pin being on the front, you can be a little more not as aggressive off the tee because you don't have as far in.
I've not seen where the ball went.
I didn't either.
The only thing that troubles me is I saw the spotter go down in front of.
Now I see it. It's just short of the green. It's probably 25 yards short, which is probably understandable from that far back. Looks like we now have this young man here coming up from the right rough. He's going to be about 110 yards out here. Ball comes up. Rolls right by the hole. Nice shot. Going to be that quick putt down the hill that we've seen, you know, made a couple times and also 3-putted.
Wind starting to blow as we knew that it would out here.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much. It can be a 5-mile-an-hour wind that you wouldn't feel at home. And honestly, across the street at Oak Wing, you wouldn't feel. But out here, there's just not anything to slow this wind down. So it comes in this little cubby hole back here from these trees by the fields out there, and then it just stays down here. So it's just hard to.
Boy, that is just beautiful
shot
golf
there.
work there.
Yep.
Ball checked up like he dropped it on the green.
Yep. And that's because he's only got about 100 yards. Like I said, this is today, as difficult as this is, it's a little bit easier because of the front pin. Now this young man here, he's going to have about 90 yards. Looks like, yeah, he's going to have about 90 yards into this hole. 90 yards is for these young men is probably going to be a lob wedge, 60-degree wedge, 58-degree wedge, and they can be real aggressive with those.
That last ball that landed is where we saw the putt made from, just on that last hole. There's a shot that's up in the air. Looked like it hit just shy.
Yeah, it looks like it's just short. We can't see it. Here he comes, ball up, coming towards the hole. Didn't see that one come down either. Came up a little short. So we got 2 short and 2 on the green. The last ball came up a little bit short.
Rolling through this one again, there was about an hour delay getting this thing going with the fog that was out here. Still a very overcast day. Don't see the sun at all, and that's why it is as dreary as it is today.
Yeah, I think they'll take the cloud cover versus the wind. We played out here a couple weeks ago for the senior. I'm old enough to be in the senior city championship, and the wind blew on Sunday about 20 to 24 miles an hour, where you hit some shots that you don't normally hit out here. Unfortunately, on Sunday I hit a bunch of them, but it's so I think they'll take the overcast more than they will the wind.
Good looking shot there. Is going to hit the top of that hill and just stick, though.
Yep.
Later on,
that ball probably releases a little bit.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I mean, he just missed that bunker that's up there too.
Yeah, he did, and I'm he may have played here yesterday and realized I don't want to be above this hole. I want to try to make a 5. He was the one that was 200 yards out, and from 200 yards out, a 5 is not a bad score.
And this one today with the pin placement is playing around 393.
Yep,
is what we had talked about. It'll change a lot. Got some good insight from Joey. Excuse me.
Yeah, Joey's been here since the course opened 20-something years ago, and so he's very familiar with it. And it's just a very wind-dependent course. I've come out here when it's dead, and it's pretty gettable. And then when the wind blows, it is not gettable.
It's like those British Open winds start blowing through.
100%. Sure is that way.
Checking some team leaders. Blinn leads the way, but this thing is knotted around there. Through 5, Blinn is at 1 under. Only team that is under par today. Oh, it hits the stick and bounces off. Boy, what a good golf shot. And look at the frustration on that young man. He's like,
now, the flip side to that is if that doesn't hit the flag and it goes 6 feet by and you miss the putt, then you made a 5. So although you'd like it to go in, I think, again, these kids are smart enough to know that this is a tough hole. They make a 4. They've done a really good job. They've picked up shots on the field, as we've seen more bogeys than we have birdies here.
Texas A&M Victoria even, and then scores start to drop off after that. +2 is Colin there, 2 over. Texarkana is 3 over. Louisiana Christian, the host team here, tied for 5th at 4 over. There with Jacksonville's B team.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's A team also there at +4. Texas A&M San Antonio at +5, and Jarvis Christian at +15. Having a tough morning.
Yeah, that putt comes up a little bit short here. He's going to mark it and step away. I'm sure as a coach for these young men, you're wanting today just to stick around. Don't get too far behind. You don't want to you're trying to give yourself a chance to win tomorrow. You can't win it today.
But you can lose it today.
Yes, you can absolutely lose it today, but, I'm thinking that if you can, stay within 4 or 5 shots of the lead, going into tomorrow, that's your goal as a coach. And, so you just want to go out here and get a couple of young men that shoot 73, 74, somewhere in there.
And you look back at this is 6,842 yards to par. It is 72 is the par here, and so only team that is under that on pace is Blinn. We said at -1.
Yeah, as the head pro was telling us, this is not a super long golf course. It is very gettable. Well, this morning it shouldn't be too bad. We should see some good scores. You come out here tomorrow morning and the wind could not only blow stronger but flip directions. And when it does that, then it becomes a very difficult golf course. So these young men are probably going to put up some good scores today.
Missed that one, and boy, we've seen above the hole just a tough place to be today.
It is, and again, they're not going to know that, and maybe their coach, who's out here spotting for them, he's able to tell them that. If he's helping the kids come down number 9, he can tell them, hey, look, you don't want to be above this hole. But other than that, they're not going to have any idea. And some of these small schools don't have but one coach, and he can't be but one spot.
Right.
So you can't. You go to LSU, and you've got, there's 8 kids on the LSU golf team, and LSU's probably got 5 golf coaches. A head coach and some assistants. Here, you're lucky. One of our local golf shops here, Teed Up Golf, John Nobles was the head pro or the coach here at LC for a while, and he coached it by himself. Just him.
Yep, and it's not a money position. These things are.
That's right.
These guys that are out doing it, they're doing it for the love of the game. A little bit of a pause in here as the next group makes their way off the tee box down here.
Another great place here locally, Teed Up Golf. If you're looking for golf equipment or any type of help with your game, those guys up there know what they're doing. They're here in Alexandria. Looks like we have 4 young men coming off the tee box here on number 9. I see 1, 2. I see 2 balls in the fairway. I don't see the other 2. This should be, if my math is correct here, this should be Loris Benton, Jack Maria, Jackson Danielle, and Jacob Steele. Texas A&M San Antonio, Collin College, Blinn College, and Jacksonville College, the B team.
You talked about the difficult holes that are out here. Hole number 3, playing 438 yards today, has 0 birdies on it. 6 pars, 5 bogeys, and 5 doubles and beyond.
Yeah, it's a tough pin. If we're looking at it over here, we can see it to our left, and it's a front pin as well. That if you get past, you're just not going to stop it.
While that team is walking up, we may try to swing around.
Yep, there's 3 guys right there that are.
I don't know if we can get a look at it or not the way our camera is set up out here.
That pin is the most difficult pin. We actually have a local member here that loves this pin. We call this the Queen pin. It's for Chris. It's his favorite pin on number 3, and he probably wishes he was out here playing this pin today.
It probably sounds a little sarcastic in there, I've got to think, knowing you.
Well, I mean,
that group.
Yeah, he's if he hears this, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's a difficult flag as well. You can put some flags out here. The front pin on number 18 here today is going to be, 205 yards, 195 over water, and so this can be a little bit difficult.
We're on 9 today, and it is moving along as there have been 2 birdies, 14 pars on 9.
Yep.
So people are out playing this one rather just passively.
Yeah, and the other thing is, 9 is going to play kind of a crosswind, but 3 and 4, today the wind is dead into your face on number 3. So you're going to be playing that second shot from 170, 180 to a pin that is more designed for it to be played from 100. So it's going to be very difficult.
Well, that shot flirted with the water over here on our right, their left.
Looks like we have a young man who's, he's over here next to the water on the left. We've got 2 in the middle of the fairway, 3 in the middle of the fairway, actually. So 4 good tee shots here. And these are some of the kids from the colleges that you have talked about that are on top of the leaderboard that are playing really well. This is a couple of Blinn College kids. So yeah, they're at the top of the leaderboard now at 1 under as a team.
That's a long way to come for that one.
Yep.
It just went right of it over there into where that bunker area is.
Okay. To the right?
Yeah.
All right.
Off to our left.
Yep. Yeah, that's the miss. If you miss it over here to the left, you're gonna have a hard time really getting up and down from either side of this. But the weird part is the miss is actually long. If you want to play safe, you miss it long. You just have to be really careful with that 2-putt, trying to get that down in 2.
That one goes long, as you talked about.
Yep.
That's the first one, and it'll come down that hill a little bit.
Yep, it will.
That's probably the furthest out that we've seen one.
It is, and it'll be a double breaker. It'll go down the hill and go to the right and then break back to your left at the end.
That one is. And that's also going to find its way on that left side, their right side, our left side bunker, left of your screen. So 2 will play from that bunker area.
Man, we're broadcasting this event.
So you had 2 that are behind KP above the hole, and 2 are off to the left of your screen. They're right as they're coming in, and we'll just put that to the test. How is it being down below the hole but off the green over there by that bunker, or being up on the top?
Right. It just depends on every golfer has different strengths. These 2 young men obviously wanted to get it on the green and use their putter, and I'm sure the other 2 were trying to do the same thing, but maybe their coach told them, say, hey, look, don't go above this hole. We're trying to make 4 here. We're not trying to make 3. And as you can see by the scores, we've got 14 pars on this hole and only 3 birdies. So it's not a birdie hole today.
No, indeed, it's not. But conversely to number 3, there's only been 2 that have been doubles or above.
Right.
As opposed to 5 on par 3.
Oh, yeah.
On hole 3.
Yep.
You see them starting to make their approach.
Now, what did the head pro tell you about the bunkers? How are they playing the bunkers today?
He told us that it was ground under repair.
Correct.
And that you're able
Right.
to get out of there. He said
Yep.
because they didn't have time to come in and pump the water
Right.
out of there,
Right.
then you're able to take it and get your drop no
Yep.
closer to the hole.
That's right. That's what you do. You take nearest point of relief, no closer to the hole, which is exactly where these 2 young men are doing it.
Which, again, tells you shooting for that might be a strategy at that point.
It's not bad if there's it takes the bunkers out of play here. So there's several bunkers. For instance, on a hole number 7, there's one right in front of the green. You hit it in the bunker, you pull it out closest, and you're way better off than trying to hit that bunker shot. So that is not a bad idea at all. And both these young men are going to be chipping from the same spot, trying to make a 4.
There you see the drop, and again, nearest point of relief, no closer to the hole, because they were unable to lift the sand, rake it, pump the water out. With the fog that was in here, you couldn't get the maintenance crew out onto the course today.
Not just that, but to take it, even if you pump the water out, like you can see this bunker here to the right, is standing water.
Yes.
You can pump that out all you want. You can rake it. It's still gonna have water in it. It's still gonna be hard to play out of. So even if you could get it out of there, it's still not very, hopefully if it doesn't rain, this will all be gone by tomorrow. They'll be able to work the bunkers. They have a machine that actually goes in there. You ride this machine, and it turns the sand up, dries it out a little bit. Maybe they'll be able to play out of them tomorrow.
I think taking that drop though is a little easier than playing out of it for sure.
100% easier. It takes the angle out. It makes it much easier. Otherwise, you're in that bunker trying to hit it high and soft and fly it down that hill and stop it.
Shot going to go just onto the green and roll up.
Very difficult shot here. I hope this second young man will have an idea of what it does. He may be able to get a little bit closer than the first one, but yes, it's a very difficult shot.
Well, what you'd like to do is hit it up on top of that hill and let it just roll up.
Right.
But you don't know what the release is going to be because
Right.
you see on the back, it's still very wet.
Golf is really a big game of percentages. You're playing the game, and, of course, this young man saw that shot, so he's a little bit closer. But golf's not about how good your good shots are. Golf is about how bad your bad shots are. And if you can mitigate those bad shots and keep them playable, that's really, you're playing percentages. Maybe the young man is a great putter. He feels like if he gets his putter in his hand, he can make a 10-footer. So that's why he's, doing what he's doing. Golf course is in really good shape. It's been in good shape for a while. We just had our superintendent, Andrew Rash, who's been here with us for 5 years. Shout out to Andrew. He has taken a position over in Mobile, Alabama, at a place called Timber Creek. He's doing a renovation over there. They're going to spend a couple $1 million to renovate that course. And unfortunately, Andrew's from Alabama. We don't hold that against him.
Well, that one, for the distance that he was,
very good putt.
Pretty good putt.
Very good putt. Absolutely. That's an instance there where the flag helped him, kept it in and slowed it down for him. So he's going to have a pretty good opportunity to make par there.
There you hear off onto the screen one of those, they're off on the mics, one of the occurrences that are throughout the day here, those big planes taking off.
Yeah, this neighborhood is really nice out here. The problem I would have is there's not a tree in the world to block any sun. And every day, airplanes are taking off above your house. And they don't really care if you're sleeping. So,
no.
But it's a nice neighborhood out here. It's grown. They're still building houses, and it's really nice. But I'm just not a fan of the heat during the summer and the airplanes always taking off.
Yeah, and they definitely are. And it's those big ones.
Yep. It's nice for us to have an airport here. We, for a long time, didn't have one, so it is nice to have one. This young man's got a putt going down the hill. Looks like it's pretty good speed. Going to trickle down there toward the hole. That's an excellent putt right there. Very good.
Yeah, it looks like
control.
It lands close to pin high on it. And
just left of the hole about a foot. He'll tap that in like he's going to do right now. That's an excellent two-putt right there from that young man.
And we've seen everyone, while it was still the fog early this morning, go past the hole.
Yep. This is one of the two young men that missed the green. He's putting for par here. Looks like it's about 12 feet down the hill, breaking a little bit to the right. There it is. Great putt right there from that young man.
Boy, that's
excellent putt.
That's beautiful.
I think that might be a relative of his over here with a little clap, but that's okay. That's wonderful. Glad to see the moms and dads out here watching their young men play college golf.
Look, and there's not been a putt on 9 today that has been what you'd call a gimme.
No, not at all. Not at all. This young man rolls the putt down. Looks like a good line. Breaking a little right. He makes it as well. Same one as the one before. Nice up and down there from both those young men for par. Fourth member of this group's tapping in for par. That's 4 pars on this hole. That's pretty impressive.
It takes the total up, to 19?
Yep. That is pretty impressive right there.
We'll watch this group come down through here as we do.
So now we have a Blinn College at 2 under, followed up by Texas A&M Texarkana at +1, and then Texas A&M Victoria at +2. Louisiana Christian is now +4, so they're not too bad off there.
No, look, they're hanging around, and that's what you wanted.
You're just trying to hang around on Monday. You're not trying to lose, to get too far behind. You're just trying to hang around.
Well, the difference on where the folks are planting their second shots, KP, the one in the front just must have blasted it.
Yeah, he probably hit driver, and it's a huge advantage. You know, like I play out here a lot. I hit driver on this hole, but driver happens to be the straightest club in my bag. So this young man is got a huge advantage. He's going to have about 90 yards, whereas we have one that's probably 160. We've got another one back there with him. We got one coming down the cart path. So, yeah, if you're comfortable with hitting driver and you get it down here like he did, he's got a huge advantage. Got a young man coming in from the left side of the fairway. He's going to be about 170 yards out. Ball is up, coming toward the hole.
Went off to our left off towards that right bunker.
Okay.
Which is where it's at.
Yeah, which again is usually the miss. I mean, when you're standing back there, you've got water up here left. That's usually the miss. Got another young man who is in the middle of the fairway, and then this. All right, so here he comes. He's not real happy with the shot. It's off to the right.
It goes into the bunker.
Yep.
As well there.
Right.
There's another shot that was hit that actually
is on the front of the
looked
green.
like they got hit at the same time.
It does, and those shots are that is the ideal position. That young man is below the hole, about 10 feet up the hill. That's where you want to be. It does look like those shots were hit, pretty close to each other. So, and that was the young man that was
out by the cart path.
No, actually, the one that was furthest down here in the fairway, his ball's already gone. He's hit as well. Now the one by the cart path is taking a drop.
That means he went into the backyard.
Well, actually, if you hit it in the backyard, he's got to re-tee. What he probably has over there is casual water. That is a low-lying area. Water's going to hold there. So if he went in the out of bounds, would have had to hit another ball from the tee box. That is probably a casual water drop. Anytime there's water around your feet, you get to take a drop out of it. So he's going to be able to do that, and now he'll have probably about 100 yards left for his second shot. But yeah, the water, you hit it in the water, you drop it nearest point of relief, no closer to the hole where it crossed the hazard in the water.
Right.
If you hit it over the fence, it's out of bounds. You lose stroke and distance, and you have to stay at the tee box.
Gotcha.
So it's why people tend to normally miss it left in the water versus OB, because at least I don't lose the distance whenever I miss it left in the water. Here comes that young man. Ball's up, coming towards the hole.
Also finds its way into the bunker.
Yep. That bunker is definitely, and again, with the moisture out here today, the ball, it just depends on whether you get any moisture between the club face and the ball. If you're able to keep that area dry, then you can control the golf ball. But if you get some moisture on your takeaway or whatever in between that club face and the ball, it can go just about anywhere. Just about anywhere.
Blinn continues to lead the way. They sit at 1 under. Texarkana and Victoria both at even par. And then a tie for 4th between Louisiana Christian, Collin, and Jacksonville, Texas.
It's amazing how quickly, I guess these kids are all putting their scores in, because it changes so drastically, so quickly. I just hit the update button. Blinn's now 2 under. Texas A&M Arcana is even, and then Texas A&M Victoria is even.
Yep.
Louisiana College is +4. I know that with these college golf, they're all keeping their own score. They're putting it in the live system.
Ben Potter is leading the way for Blinn at 3 under.
He's doing well, really well. What that does too is it allows the scoring to be done when they're done. They don't have to come in and write them all down and manually add them up. They're all done. It's done electronically now.
I guess the days of signing your scorecard.
You still do that, and you still have to keep it.
Right.
Because technically what goes in the computer is not the official score. What's the official score is what you sign for and what you have in your hand.
Most of these guys are through 7
Yep.
already today.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, you can have a scoreboard electronically, but what counts is what you sign for and you turn in when you get done.
Both of these shots are what we saw last hole, having to drop behind that
Yep.
bunker. But again,
That's right.
it's called ground under repair.
Yep. Good shot right there. Very nice shot below. There we go. Very nice shot.
Yeah, that'll give not a lot of a putt coming back. But being on that side or below the hole is certainly where you want to be.
Yeah, it's turned out to be a nice day. The wind's not blowing too hard. We've got the fog burn off now, and we're looking like we're going to have a good day.
Made the right decision to bring the jacket out today,
Yes,
though.
you did. Absolutely. Little chip shot here coming directly back at it. Nice. Looks like it's going to be – that's very well played. Very well played. Very difficult shot there.
And look, it looks like both of those shots were hit about the same.
Yep. Very, very good control there. Like I said, now you got a chance to make a par and get out of here and go play the back nine, whereas the pro was telling us it's a little bit easier than the front nine and a lot more scoreable.
Kind of a little
Yep.
bump and run.
That's right. The quicker you get the ball on the ground playing this game, the better off you are. The variables, you take one variable out when you get it on the ground. And so everybody likes to hit it nice and high, but then there's some factors in there that are not always the best. The best way to do it is get it on the ground.
Look, that doesn't work real for me off the tee box, but that's normally how he goes.
Right,
It's
right.
on the ground quick.
Right.
Good thing I can stream things.
Well, we all got to do what we can.
That's right. Well, it is turning out to be a nice day out here and not having to battle that sun at all.
It's a great day out here. Obviously, it wasn't a really good day yesterday and this morning for our coaches down in Baton Rouge, but it's been a great day out here.
That one just went right past the hole.
Yep,
and that will be tapped in
for a par.
Well, when strokes are at a premium, too, you'd love to have that one in. Blake Francis from the host Louisiana Christian University, he is at 2 under.
Nice.
One shot off the lead from Ben Potter, tied with 3 others, Brandon Gratton, Junior Power, and Brody Horsack.
There we go. That's to be expected. These young men that are Louisiana Christian, they're practicing out here. Great putt there. Knocked that in for a par as well. So yeah, we have one more competitor here. Looks like he's got about a 3.5 footer above the hole for a par. knocks that in as well. So that's 3 very nice pars on this hole from 3 of the competitors. The last one's got a little, looks like a short tap in for par as well. Ben Potter still leading the way at 3 under. 4 young men tied at 2 under. But as I was saying, Doug, these young men are playing this course from LC. It's their home course. They're going to play it in Oak Wing a lot. Another par there. That's 4 pars in this group. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, you would expect that the home team would have a player or 2 at the top of the leaderboard.
And that's what they were hoping for. You want to come out and make a good performance. And I think as a team, they're not far off of the lead either. They are at 5 over, tied for 5th. Blinn leads all teams at 2 under.
Yep, they sure do. And that just goes to show you, you've got a young man on the Blinn team that is 3 under, which means his 3 teammates are +1.
Yeah.
And that's why they're there where they're at. But no, that's that young man is Ben Potter, 3 under through 7. Brandon Gratton is 2 under through 7. Looks like they're playing together. Junior Power is 2 under. He's through 7 as well. And then Blake Francis from our local LC Wildcats is 2 under as well.
Look, it's been interesting to see. Ben has played well. He's been the leader from the get-go.
Yep. Again, they'll be out here yesterday. They'll play practice rounds. Then they'll go back with their coaches and come up with a strategy on how to play the golf course. Some kids will hit driver off this hole, and some kids will hit iron, like Joey talked about. It's one of the great things about this sport. It's all on you. There's nobody to blame. There's no teammates to worry about. You're just out here trying to do your thing.
So they'll work their way backwards on this. So we should be getting close to seeing Ben.
Yes, we should. Looks like it says he's through 6 and 7 here, which means he'll probably be in the next couple groups, and I think he'll be towards the end of our coverage actually for today.
He may have been in that last group that went through because I don't know, are there 9?
Yeah, it says he's through 7 right now.
Okay.
So that means he's just played the par 5. He's through 7. Let's see something here. If I hit his, yes. So actually, no, that is incorrect. So Ben started on number 4, and he has actually just come through here earlier. He's on number 10 now. He's birdied number 4 and number 6 and number 10, made all pars other than that. So he is actually on the 11th tee right now. You can click on their name. It'll tell you. So Brandon Gratton is on number 13. He is 2 under. Junior Powell, he started on 9. He was our first group to come through this morning. He's on the back 9. He's birdied 13 and 15, the par 5s. And then Blake Francis started on number 1. Blake's actually on number 7 right now, the par 5. He'll be coming through our coverage here shortly.
You see that group working their way up, and let's see. You had a couple of A and Bs on there,
Yep.
So
Let me see if I can tell you who's on this hole. I can look it up. It's not them.
14 groups would go through today.
Right now on this hole, we're going to have Zachary Mesh. So Zachary Mesh's group is on this hole. So that means if I'm looking him up here, right now we are going to have Adrian Rodriguez, Zachary Mesh, Moose Estebal, and Aiden Morales. Those are the 4 that are going to be on this hole currently.
Which, if that follows along, then Ben Potter is in that next group.
Yep. Well, when I look at the individual leaderboard, we'll and maybe I'm doing it wrong, but it shows here that Ben Potter, his scores have posted that he started on number 4. He's on number 11 now at 3 under, but it's our first time to do this. Maybe we'll be able to get a better grasp on it tomorrow.
That's correct.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
In those big events, they'll have the stake with the name,
Absolutely.
but with these guys not
Absolutely.
having.
This young man laid up pretty good ways back here. Looks like he's about 200 yards. Ball's up, coming towards the hole. Should miss out to the right a little bit. It does, just by the cart path. Going to be a very difficult up and down for him.
We'll go over there and put eyes on it, and there you see it over by the cart path, and
Yep.
that's just not where you want to be, but he was a long way out, and
he was. And then not playing here a lot, not knowing where to miss it. The miss here is actually going to be left. You miss it in the bunker, you get to take it out. But the main thing is if you miss it in the left bunker and take it out, you're chipping up the hill, and you can use the slope to stop it.
But he's also dry, and
That's right. That's important. That is very important.
See everybody with their range finders getting an eye on it.
Whew. Glad I brought my pullover too. It's a little chilly out here sure.
It has not warmed up any.
No, not a bit. Still in the low 60s. So I did see last night that you did fairly quickly take your name out of the running for the coaching job down there at LSU. I was glad to know that.
Well, I'm glad I jumped in there and checked this. We about lost our coverage.
Uh-oh.
Well,
time-wise?
Yeah, but
okay.
when you run an hour behind,
there you go.
That's what happens.
So right.
We extended it an hour and a half.
I, too, took my name out of the hat as well. I've got too much stuff going on with work and 446 to be down there in Baton Rouge, so I'll still be here with you.
There you have it. It's a good-looking shot there as that gentleman is making his approach to it.
He took a longer club off the tee to push it down there, and again, if you can push it down there and get it where he's at, then it definitely becomes a birdie hole. Whereas, if you're further back, it's definitely not. So he's going to be about 90 yards. He's about 90 yards, pin on the front, and he should be aggressive with this, and I expect to see a good shot here and probably a good look at birdie.
Well, we just saw one go into that fence off the tee as we were looking behind.
Okay.
I couldn't see it. It was somebody off the tee box.
Right.
Found out of bounds.
Yep. That what you do is in that situation, you hit a provisional. So the provisional is this is my second ball in case my first one's out of bounds.
Right.
That way they don't have to come up here, see it's out of bounds, and go
back
all the way back to the tee box. So that young man will probably hit a provisional. Here comes this approach shot here from about 90 yards. Oh, a little bit of a mishit there. So that young man actually just hit that ball in the water, so he'll have to come over here where it crosses. And he'll pick the nearest point of relief, no closer to the hole where the ball crossed. And it will and then he will take a drop there and be hitting his fourth shot.
Into the bunker water or into the
water.
Water. Yeah, and that's got to be frustrating to know that you had such a good shot off the tee box.
Yes, it is. It's definitely you did the hard part very well, and then unfortunately sometimes in this game we do the easy stuff not so well.
This one is the one from the cart path.
Yep. That's not bad at all. He won't be. That is
it's going to come around and roll.
That is a very good shot. Yeah, if he stood over there and hit 100 of them, he wouldn't hit many better than that. So that's a very good shot and a very smart shot. It takes making a big score out of the equation. He makes the putt, it's a 4. He misses it, it's a 5, and a 5's not the end of the world on this hole.
Getting a ruling is what they're going to do here.
Yeah, what you do here is you converse with your competitors in your group. Y'all usually have to agree on where the ball crossed. If you've seen it a couple times on the PGA Tour, there's been a couple times where, two competitors will disagree.
Right.
But usually in this, you have the best angle because you hit the shot. So he'll pick that point where it crossed, which is exactly what he did in the right spot. He'll drop it. He dropped his third shot. Now he's hitting his fourth shot and can still get this up and down for a bogey, which is not a bad score.
You and I talked this morning and off the air too about the mental side of this game, and you have such a good tee shot and then go in the water. You've got to be able to hang on here.
Golf is not only such a mental game, but it's such a
look, and that one is very long too.
Right. The emotional swings you can have from being on cloud nine. The guys that play the best golf, they take the emotion out of it. They take out the being on cloud nine and then being in the bottom of the barrel. They're very even keeled, and they control those emotions.
Boy, that shot. Again, you talk about emotion coming in. He hits this shot and it goes about 10 yards.
Yep, that's right. A lot of times it gets to going really quickly, just like, and before you know it, you made a double or a triple when you could have made a bogey. That's a very good shot, but it's above the hole. So he would rather miss that 5 feet below the hole than where he just missed it.
But that's some aggravation because that one that you
that's right.
You miss.
Yep.
Just before that.
Yeah, there's not a more mental game in the world you can play than this because, again, you can't blame it on anybody else. It's all on you. There's no excuses. So it's a very, very tough game to play between the ears, and the ones that do it between the ears at a high level, the Tiger Woods, the Scotty Schefflers, the Rory McIlroys of the world, that's why they're as good as they are. Putt here from this young man down to the left, breaking just to the very nice putt. From where he was at, that's a 5. That's not a bad score. It's not the end of the world.
Oh, and he missed.
He missed it.
Yeah,
he rushed that putt and missed it.
That will just really, really, really get you.
It will. It'll really get under your skin when you do the hard things well, and then you do the easy thing not so well.
This is a young man that had the pretty good tee shot, then ended up in the water and had to come back around.
Right. So I'm glad we were able to get out of get out there for everybody to know that you and I are not going to be candidates down in Baton Rouge. It's going to be interesting to see who the candidates are.
Now who they'll go after.
Well, I just saw a post that said that the Detroit Lion defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard, has emerged as a top candidate.
Okay.
I know we've heard the other names that everybody has on their wish list, but, it's he's emerged as a candidate. As you know, being a part of sports, you got to get somebody in there for recruiting. You got to get somebody in there pretty quick. You don't want the program in limbo, especially when it's, LSU.
Especially when you lost so many coaches as well.
Yep.
Yesterday.
You did. And, that's what happens when something – I mean, that may be one of the most embarrassing losses I've seen in my LSU life on Saturday night at Tiger Stadium. To get blown out like that is hard to recover from.
Especially at your place.
That's right. It's hard to recover from, and Mr. Woodward decided that we weren't going to recover from it. We were going to move on, and that's his job.
We will have a leaderboard update coming up here momentarily.
Yep.
A couple of teams will join Blinn. Good looking putt there to finish that off. And Blinn continues to lead the way through 8. They are 3 under. Texas A&M Victoria just 1 shot off the pace. They are at 2 under through 8, and Texas A&M Texarkana is 1 shot under. There's a big gap from there as Jacksonville goes to +4 there, number 4 in this. Tied for 5th is LCU, Texas A&M San Antonio, and Collin at +5, and then a big jump down to +12 for Jacksonville's B team and Jarvis Christian rounds out the 9 teams at plus 18.
So we got 3 young men here, one down the right side over here by the fence. Got another young man here. It's going to be about 175 yards out coming into this hole. And then the third player in this group is going to be about 60 yards out coming into this hole. Ball's up coming towards the flag here. Up, great shot. Where most everybody has hit it today, right in the middle of the green on this hole. Going to be about 20 feet going down the hill. From that distance, from 170 yards, that's a heck of a golf shot.
Looks like the one coming in by the fence now, too.
Yep. He's going to be about 120. Ball's up, coming in. Ball goes in the bunker to the right.
So, again, the way the bunker plays today,
Yep.
it's not terrible.
It's not. He'll have to, again, it depends on what area. So he's up toward the top right of the bunker. His closest point of relief is going to be up to the right, which is going to make this a little more difficult shot. If you hit it down here to the left, you get to drop it where everybody else has dropped it, which makes it a little easier shot. And that
Good
ball
looking
comes
shot
in.
there. Yeah,
Yep.
It just releases and rolls to the back, nearly rolls off the back of it, but it's sloped there, so you don't
Yep.
see many roll off the back.
You don't. That's going to be about a 45-footer going down the hill. Going to be really quick. And but his coach has been here, or it looks like that's his coach standing there, so he's going to be able to tell him, hey, this putt's quick. We've 3-putted it a couple times, and advise him.
We've got a new leader on the day on the individual side of it. Ishraq Ani, A-N-I-S, from Texas A&M Texarkana, has put together a couple of birdies, and he now sits at 4 under. Ben Potter, for the first time today, not in the lead, but he's one shot off the pace at 3 under. Junior Power, 2 under. Blake Francis ties him, and Brandon Gratton at 2 under. Correction, and Brody Horsack at 2 under. Jack Mara, Kyle Mahan, and Cody Peters all at 1 under. The rest at even or above.
Yeah, Ishraq was in our first group that started here on number 9, and he's actually got on the back 9. And to give you his last 4 holes, he's birdied 13, 14, eagled 15, and birdied 16 to go 4 under.
May be our only eagle of the day then.
Yep.
And that's what jumped him up like he did.
Yep.
Yeah, that eagle on 15 did it, and that's a hole that is playing the second easiest today.
Yep.
With 1 eagle, 4 birdies, 2 pars, and 2 bogeys. Nothing above a bogey.
Well, 15 today is going to be downwind with this breeze in the direction it's in. So it's for these young kids, it's probably going to be a driver 7-iron into that hole, and I can't see where the flag's at, but making 3 at any point out here is impressive.
That's correct, especially on a 5.
Yep. So what they're doing over here is they're trying to determine, like I said, what is his nearest point of relief based on which section of the bunker he's in, and they're trying to pick what they think is his nearest point of relief. Also, you have to find the ball, and it could be in that water, and it's very difficult to find that ball.
They'll get all of that set up and
Yep.
ready to go. Don't forget, we will continue our coverage in the morning. Another 8 a.m. shotgun start. And we will bring you hole number 18, which is just off to our right from where we sit today. We are at hole number 9 on here. Don't have fancy names for these holes out here, do they?
No, they don't have individual names like they do. Really, the only course that has that is Augusta National, and it's because it's the one major played every year at the same course. All the other 3 majors, the Open, the U.S. Open, and the PGA, they rotate, but Augusta's always in Augusta, Georgia, and so they've named those holes. It's the most famous golf course in the world, and definitely a bucket list thing that if you play this game, you gotta go. So he's determined that's his nearest point of relief. He's going to be hitting the same chip shot we've seen from these other young men.
And the beauty of it is they all got together
Yep,
for that, too.
That's right. It's a group thing. You have to get it together and make sure that everybody's doing it right. He hits his shot, comes trickling up. It's a great shot. Going to be a tap-in par there for that young man. Once again, below this hole is much easier to play than being above the hole.
Look, and I'm going to tell you the strategy behind that, too. On a day that plays just as a hazard, you're not making that shot.
No, if you're in that bunker, the shot is really, really difficult to get it high and soft. But today, being able to pull it out of there, it's just a huge advantage. Normally, you aim away from bunkers. Today, there'll be players that aim toward bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get it in there so they can touch it and take it out.
Well, I think you'd rather be there than you would.
Going down the hill with a little speed. Looks like it's rolling very nice.
Well, getting close.
Oh, he barely missed that. That is a heck of a putt. It's exactly what he wanted to do. It's about 3 feet, 4 feet below the hole, putting back up the hill. Excellent putt there from that young man. That's about as far out as we've seen a ball from this hole today. Once again, you see this coach. He's there. He can be there with his player. He's the only one that can advise the player. No parents, no one else can. Just the head coach and the head coach only. And so he'll be helping this young man with this read, trying to get him dialed in here to try to knock in a birdie. Looks like Mr. Brandon Gratton has tied Mr. Ishrock at 4 under. Looks like Brandon has tied him. He's also birdied 13, 14, and 15. So we have a tie at the lead now between Brandon Gratton and Ishrock Anise.
A couple of those out of the Texas A&M system, one from Victoria, one from Texarkana.
Right. Glenn is now still in the lead at 4 under, followed by Texas A&M Victoria at 3, and then Texas A&M Texarkana at +1. See, McMahon, he rolled that putt down there just inside the other young man. So it's about, both of them are about 3.5, 4 feet, just where you want to hit it. So you're at Pizza Village tonight?
Yes. Pizza Village from 6:30 to 7:30.
I've heard that pizza's pretty good down there.
The crust makes it all, yes.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
Do they have that cauliflower pizza like everybody else is doing?
I guess they do, but
you haven't tried that?
No.
I didn't think so.
No.
Yeah.
The roast beef po' boy is phenomenal. The wings are incredible. Any other adjectives that you have for it, but it's just a great time. We'll talk undefeated Turlings Catholic football tonight for an hour or so.
Yep. You and Mr. Magnano?
I don't know that Nick's going tonight.
Okay.
He got the night off. 2T will go with us down there.
2T?
Yeah. He does production for Turlings Catholic on Friday nights and just wants to go down there tonight for this one.
Well, so that's a couple of really nice pars there for those two young men. And this young man here looks like he has a short tap-in par, but he's not taking it for granted. As we've seen, it can be missed. So he's taking his time here. This is an LC golfer. I can see his shirt. I don't think it's Blake. I do know Blake. I don't think it's Blake. He tapped it in. That's 3 pars on this hole. That's pretty impressive. That'll bring us to these 3 young men that are back here in the fairway. We've got one that's going to be about 150 out. The other one is going to be about 160 out. And then we have another young man who's over here by the cart path. He's going to be a little bit shorter. These are good conditions. I've talked to some of these kids that have played in some of these tournaments, and they play from now until December, and they'll play in 30-degree weather. They'll go to Texas. It'll be cold. Great shot. Another approach shot here on number 9. Comes in there. 2 great shots there. One from an LC golfer, the other one from the other young man. A couple of 6-foot birdie putts there. Bye. 3 good shots there. 3 greens in regulation there, Doug. All 3 golfers on the green. The longest young man back was from LC. He hit it in there real close. And we've got 3 birdie putts here. One of them being that long putt we've seen most of the day, and the other 2 being short.
Well, if you call it, I guess technically, in all sense of the name, that's a birdie putt back there.
It is.
But boy, that's going to be
It is a GIR, a green in regulation.
That is correct.
Yep. We take them when we can get them. Now, it can also turn into a 3-putt, which,
we've seen that
We've
today.
seen that, but it's a GIR.
Well, indeed it is. It's been a wonderful morning out here of golf. You see them stacking up back on that tee box back behind down there, it looks like.
Yeah, there's foursome there on number 8. They're playing the par 3, so we don't have anybody on our tee box right now.
You've heard us talk about Coach Josh that's coordinated. There he is on your camera.
I'm sorry, we do. We have a foursome on the 9th tee box. They're all hitting their tee shots. There's Coach Josh. He's able to come over here and talk to his player.
Is that the young man that's leading the way for LC now? What is that, Francis?
Blake, let me see here. Hang on. I don't think that's Blake. I think Blake is in. Well, I can look and tell you. Hold on a second.
You don't have to think.
Yeah, I ain't got to think. Hang on a second. I'll tell you. Blake is actually on the 9th tee box right now. That's correct. He's on the 9th tee box.
Okay, so that's not Blake there. So you see Josh, because he's got a player here on the green and one on the tee box.
Yeah, Blake is on the 9th tee box. So that means that if I go back and look at these tee times where Blake teed off, the 9th tee box, which is going to be our last group of the day, Blake Francis, Derek Rhodes, Brody Horsack, and Edgar Hinenshow, and they're the last they're the last group coming through number 9. So they'll be our last group of the day.
This is that young man that you talked about that it actually hit front and bounced towards the back.
Yeah, so this group is Cooper Ware, Slade Harris, and Evan Reimer. So the young man from LC is Cooper Ware, and then Slade Harris is from Jarvis Christian, and then Evan Reimer's from Colin.
Yeah, Jarvis Christian has had a tough day of it. It's great to see them over here. Blinn at 4 under, Texas A&M Victoria at 3 under, Texas A&M Texarkana. Woods right there. Now they've dropped to 1 over. LC back to +6. So this is Blinn and Texas A&M Victoria battling.
Yep. And again, as you can see, this is such a volatile leaderboard. Things change so quickly. So this young man, I mean, these, by the time we get done this afternoon, I'll check it out and I'll get you some updates, and you can make a post, and we never know what these scores are going to be like once we
look. And there's 36 holes out here today.
Right.
That's the thing.
There's 36 today.
They play 18 and then another 18 continuous.
Okay, and then there's 18 tomorrow or 36 tomorrow.
I think they go 18 tomorrow.
Okay, so it's a 54-hole event. So yeah, by the end of this day, this could be a just depends totally on the weather and how it plays. This could be a totally different leaderboard by the end of the day, and it'd probably be done not long before you start your program in Lafayette. I'll get you some updates and get them to you so you don't have to worry about that. Long putt here for birdie going down the hill. Looks like this ball's moving with a little bit of speed, slowing down toward the hole, just barely misses. going to be about 5 feet going back up the hill. It's a good putt, though, from 50 feet. So now this should be the LC young man that is
You said where?
Ware. That's correct. That's him. He's putting it birdie. He had a great shot from about 185 yards back there in the fairway. It curled up off the slope, and he's got about maybe a 10-footer going down the hill, breaking a little bit right. It's over the ball. Putts away, headed down towards the hole, breaking a little bit right, and he just barely left it short. That's another half a roll from going in. He just barely taps that in. That's a good putt. It's a great par there from Ware from 190 yards, and that will leave this last young man. It's got about a 5-foot birdie putt. It's going to break a little left. It's going to be quick down the hill.
Boy, and it's frustrating when you're so close to gaining a stroke there.
Yep. I still think you gain a stroke on this hole with a par. You're not. There's going to be so many bogeys. This young man rolls it up, knocks it in for another birdie. 4th or 5th birdie today from on this hole. This young man's got about a 6-7 footer going back up the hill for par. Being a really good 2-putt considering he had about 50 feet going down there. Putts away. Up toward the hole. Knocked it right in. Great 2-putt there from that young man to make a par there. Two pars.
From being all the way behind it like he was.
Yeah, 2 pars and a birdie is pretty good. Now we've got our last group of the day coming in. It looks like our LC golfer, Mr. Francis, taking a drop, which means that his tee shot went left into the water. We've got another young man that's going to be about 140 out in the middle of the fairway. And then we have 2 young men over here by the cart path. Looks like they're both inbounds just by the cart path to the right. So Blake's going to be there playing first. Blake is going to have about 120 yards left.
Like the young man in the middle went ahead and hit.
Yep,
and
looks like he did.
Right just past the
Yep, just past the bunker where we've seen everybody drop it. Now Blake's coming in. Obviously just trying to keep control of the damage here. Probably trying to hit this in the green and 2-putt it, make a bogey. Ball's up, coming in towards the flag. Great shot, just above the hole, about 20 feet. That gives him a chance to – you don't want to compound an error. When you make an error on the golf course, you hit it in the water, the last thing you want to do is turn this bogey into a double or triple because then you can't recover from that.
And he's been playing really well.
Right. So,
morning.
He just goes ahead and he 2-putts that. You get lucky, you make a par. If not, you make a 5. You're 1 under, and you're going to the back 9 where the back 9 is scoreable, and you can easily shoot,
Good-looking shot up in the air.
Yep.
Going to be well short, though. That's one of the shorter approaches that we've seen to it today.
Right.
And they'll settle in. They've got one more left to go.
One more left to go. From the right side, he's got about 90 yards left. Ball's up, coming in, nice and high, straight down, great shot, about 10 feet above the hole. Going to be the same putt we've seen made a couple times, so, not terrible.
All 4 balls are within the screen area.
Yep.
But 2 of them on, 2 of them off.
Right.
And I don't mind the one that is up at the top of the bunker. It's not a bad shot coming
No.
in because you're below the pin.
Correct. You're below the pin. Anytime you can use the slope to your advantage, you're doing well. And that's what you're trying to do is he can use the slope to his advantage, slow the ball down with the slope. It's when you're going downhill and downwind, you can't really control it. That makes it difficult. They are playing lift, clean, and place today as well because of the moisture. So you get to lift your ball, you mark it, you lift it, you clean it, you put it back down. That way the elements are a little bit less of a variable there.
That's just not a terrible spot to
Nope,
be.
it's not at
Now,
all.
The one
Not at
below
all.
it, a little bit further off. That's
Yep.
tough because we saw the one from there earlier that
Yep.
just kind of got just short hit a little
Right.
bit.
Yep, absolutely. So this young man is coming up here with a chip shot. Should be able to get it pretty close. And
Now he kind of
yeah,
it slowed down well
Yep,
for him.
he
But
gassed it a little bit, but it's it's not unmakeable there.
in light of the last one that we saw there that went
Yep.
about 10 feet.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
You see the course is just about cleared off, short of that stretch through 18.
Yep, everybody is this is our last group coming up. This young man chips it up really close, right above the hole. It's a tap-in par. So he'll make a nice par there. You'll have Blake putting for par. He'll be putting for par.
I'm wondering who that group is. Oh, those are just players then if they're back there, just guys that are out.
Yes, those are just guys that are out playing because they teed off behind this group, which is our first group on number one.
Right.
And they're just out there playing.
They're not going to make the broadcast.
They're not going to make the broadcast. They're also going to play a very slow round of golf today. Yeah,
we
they're going to be out here for a while.
We will be back with you in the morning at 8 a.m. as you see this group that is finishing up. Let's take a look at that leaderboard as we are winding things down on our coverage today. And it's been Blinn and Texas A&M Victoria that have been the story today. Blinn is 5 under, and Texas A&M Victoria is 4 under. But it's been the Brandon Grattan show at 4 under. Ishraq Ani is at 4 under as well. Ben Potter there. Blake Francis now at 2 under.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Blake wants to try to just two-putt this, make sure that he makes no worse than 5, and goes to the back 9 where the scoring is a lot more favorable. You just don't want to compound an error here and 3-putt this for anything more than you're trying to make 5. If it goes in, that's great. Blake's putt is up, down towards the hole, breaking a little bit left, and my fuse blocked. He rolled it down there pretty much in the tap-in range, so he's going to make a 5 there. And again, that's not the end of the world. Not a bad 5 after hitting it in the water. That's what you want to try to do. And now, he can go to the back 9 where we've seen eagles and birdies being made back there pretty regularly, and he can be aggressive. This is a young man putting it birdie, going down the hill here. Breaking a little bit to the right. Looks like a good line. If the speed's right, breaks off a little bit to the right. It's going to be a good par. Good par.
And our final competitor of the day for us, or do they have? Yeah, he's
got a good look at it here as well. Going to be putting down the hill. Going to be quick, but one of the variables you take out is the speed. Looks like it to be about a 10-foot putt. Goes down towards the hole, breaking. Needs to break a little bit right, And it's just barely on the lip. Left it right there on the lip. That was par? Okay, I couldn't. I didn't know if the tee shot went in the water or not. Okay. Oh, okay, got you. All right. Well, Blake made a par. That's awesome.
There you go. Look, that'll save him there. So
yes, he stays
work.
at 2 under.
Indeed.
Stays at 2 under. That's awesome. This young man's tapping in. It'll be our last stroke of the day, and we'll be back tomorrow.
There it is. We will watch them walk off. There you see the leader for the Wildcats team that is off the pace a little bit. It's been a battle between Blinn and Victoria today, but tremendous work today. KP, after about an hour delay, we are getting out of here at 11:30, so that's about where we thought we'd be. We'll be back for coverage tomorrow in there. You get a little bit better look around the course. There is 18 where we will be tomorrow. A group that are finishing up there, but that is going to end our coverage here for the day. They will come back out here this afternoon. I think they're set to tee off again this afternoon around noon. So they'll come in, grab some quick lunch, and get right back out there and do it all over again. So glad that you were able to be a part of our coverage today. KP Miles, I am Doug Gann. God bless you all, and we'll see you in the morning.